After the lost Bastille and the sinners rise, there awaits a being deprived of grace. She rises to challenge the player, a bug crawling into an empty eye socket. The eyeless gaze falls upon the player, and the sinner approaches, slow, steady, and formidable. This is the story of the lost sinner, as recommended by a commenter named Patrick, along with some other letters and numbers on the end. Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys will stick around as we talk about the lost sinner and make an attempt at drawing her. This drawing will have plenty of tricky textures including hair, metal, and flesh. Metal and hair can be a really tricky thing to capture, and more so imagine. This drawing will be a challenge, especially when considering a serious lack of high-resolution reference images available. But I always think drawings like this, ones where you must push through things unknown to you, create opportunities for growth. This channel exists in part to encourage others to draw the things that inspire them, so I hope you'll pick up a pencil and begin sketching something yourself. If you are just here to watch, no worries, sit back and relax. If there are any characters or creatures from games, films, books, what have you, that you would like to see drawn in the future, make sure to leave a comment below. This drawing, and all my drawings, are available for purchase on my website, drawinglore.com. The link will also be in the video's description. Alright, let's get into it. From Software has established itself as the standard for game studio excellence in the last decade or so. Their impact on the gaming industry reaches far enough that a whole genre of game is named after their Dark Souls saga, Souls-like. This term is a descriptor that aims to encapsulate a host of mechanics From Software has made a staple in their many games. Some of these staples include action RPG, interconnected levels, a progression system often tied to a consumable that may be lost upon death, limited save points, loosely explained stories which give way to deep lore and mental exploration, epic boss fights, and rigorous difficulty. Death has consequences, and the only way through something is to learn it well. This genre has captured the attention of almost anyone who has played games in the last 15 years or so, as this collection of systems offers a unique blend of progression, challenge, defeat, and ultimately reward. Some players may not like the games, but most everyone seems to respect their work in the field, and I am no different. Check out my Bloodborne video if you want to hear me gush about that game. Dark Souls 2 was released in 2014 and was quickly met with acclaim. The famed Hidetaka Miyazaki, the man who seemingly pulled From Software out from the sea of mediocre studios and into the stratosphere of gaming greats, did not direct Dark Souls 2. This honor went to, names I'm going to butcher and I apologize, Tomohiro Shibuya and Yui Tanimura, a joint operation that wasn't without some internal drama and dissension. Miyazaki did supervise the development of Dark Souls 2, but his primary focus was on the yet-to-be-released Sony exclusive Bloodborne, perhaps in part due to his absence and some of the choices that the creative team made surrounding Dark Souls 2. It is often the most criticized game in the Dark Souls trilogy, but that doesn't mean it isn't a good game. And it certainly doesn't mean that the dark, beautiful art and world building of the From Software team fails to shine through. Quite the opposite. The Lost Sinner is another example of From Software's art team intimate understanding of storytelling through visual design. Like many Souls bosses, we see the Lost Sinner as a conflicted character, something that exists somewhere in a gray area, something tragic and tormented. Past the Lost Bastille, somewhere beyond, we come to the Sinner's Rise, a dungeon with numerous cells. It is here we find the Lost One, the Lost Sinner. The room she is confined to is a large cell. Chains hang from the ceiling. The only light is that of small torches lining the wall. She sits crumpled in the room, perhaps in agony or in silent suffering. A bug crawls into the eye socket of the mask covering the sinner's face, and then the sinner rears back and screams. The character and environmental design tell us much about the lost sinner. She bears the look of someone in bondage to something. A collar with the chain encircles her neck. The hands are bound together with medieval wooden shackles, iron shackles on the ankle joints. A great sword is held in the restrained hands of the lost sinner, and when swung, the torches in the room extinguish. A fight in the dark. Her eyeless gaze unaffected by the ambiance of the room. After a long battle, we defeat the masked opponent, walk over and remove the mask. The face of a female. Puncture marks pierce the flesh of the face. Look of agony and sorrow etched into the features, like some ceremony of perpetual mourning. Spikes line the inside of the mask. There is no jailkeeper here, no judge nor executioner. This pain and punishment was of her own design, a way to atone for mistakes made in the past, the reach of her ambition which far exceeded her grasp. The lost sinner lives in punishment for the failures of her past, the ambition to relight the first flame and lead the world out of its fugue state, the failure to do so, and all the chaos that failure would come to invoke, an awakening of demons. The lost sinner is missing an eye, which a chaos bug crawls into. Priestesses of Eliam Lois would remove an eye to place the original eye of the first priestess in their own socket. The first eye was powerful and saw things that would otherwise go unseen. So it seems reasonable to assume that the lost sinner was at the very least a priestess, one of the women charged with holding the chaos at bay through ritual. Good design generally seems to be grounded in reality. History, war, ages, and other events are fertile grounds for artistic inspiration, and From Software is well aware of the events, history, and places they draw from. The Lost Sinner's character design almost certainly takes heavy inspiration from the Man in the Iron Mask, a prisoner in the French Bastille. The Bastille was a medieval fortress that later became a prison for the King's state, a particular point of contention that would later become one of the many symbols of the French Revolution, an overstepping of boundaries by kings. The Man in the Iron Mask is something worth looking into if you have any interest in forming your own theories or seeing others as to who the mystery prisoner was. As for my sinner, I chose to include an eye beneath the mask, one without an iris or a pupil, to imply physical structure that we as humans can relate to, but ultimately an eye that cannot see in the traditional sense. Another deviation from the game character was made by leaving the area from beneath the nose to the chin uncovered. The goal there being to allow the feminine lips to help identify that this foe is female, one who was once human, and exists now as a tragic thing locked away in pain, punishment, and sorrow. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. It's a little bit shorter. I hope you enjoyed it. From Software games are a hotbed of material that I'm sure I will continue to pull from. Thanks to Patrick, plus a string of letters, for recommending a character to me to draw. The various textures were a fun challenge, and I enjoyed deviating a bit from the character design in the game. Hopefully you guys have started a sketch of something that inspires you. If you guys want to check out more of my artwork or consider putting anything on your walls, check out my website drawinglore.com. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.